Hi everyone, welcome to episode 44 of the Arieknits podcast. My name is Ariel and this is a video podcast where I talk about all the things that I have been knitting, finished objects and things I'm working on, and also spinning things. And so let's get started. Today it is Sunday, September 24th. I am actually filming on a Sunday, and so as long as everything goes well, I am planning on uploading this video the same day that I am filming it, because yesterday I had a ice skating competition that I performed in, and yeah, I will talk about it at the end of this video. But yeah, so it is Sunday, and I hope you're all having a great day so far. I am going to start off with what I am wearing, which is also a finished object. And it has been 6 months. I looked at when I started this project, and it has been pretty much 6 months since I started this project. And now it is done. I am so happy, and I am loving it. The weather has also been, I think, just perfect to wear this. It is my big cozy Cardi. It is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I have been working on this for so long, and it is done. It is big, it is cozy, and I just want to live in it. Okay, so first things first about this. It is big cozy Cardi, and the yarn I use for this, so there's two different yarns. So the first one, which is the main yarn here for the whole body, I use labienaimee Merino twist in the colorway Jinju, which it's a very me color. It's like grays and pinks, and I'm just really loving it. And this is a fingering weight yarn. The pattern calls for sport weight yarn, so yeah, my version, I have no idea, but I'm assuming that my version of this has turned out to be just a little bit lighter than maybe if you use a sport or DK weight, but also, like, you could go, I feel like you could go either way as long as you check your gauge. And then the Suri color, which is kind of also what took me a very long time to work on, is Autumn and Indigo Suri silk in the colorway Rosewood. It's a really pretty, soft, like dusty rose kind of color, and I think it matches really well with the main color here. I really like how it's looking, and I made size 1, and I use US 3 needles. I believe I also use US 2 for like the ribbing for the cuff, and then also the collar here. So I'm just going to take that as a note, or write it as a note here before I forget. And yeah, I will stand up now. I feel like you probably won't be able to see the entire big cozy Cardi, because it is kind of, it's pretty long, but I will try my best to stand up here. As you can see, like, this is how much of the Suri color there is. 13 inches wide right here, so, and all the way around the body, but it makes to be a really nice and cozy, like, I just love Suri, so just having this all wrapped around, it's just so soft. And then yeah, this is how it kind of like looks on me. So the cuff right here, I was actually surprised at how long it was. I don't think I really like paid attention to it until I had to like knit it, but I really like how it looks. It is a 2x2 rib. It fits really nicely. I love how this stitch pattern looks all around the body in the main color. Maybe I'll turn around so you can see the back. I'll spread out my arms. So yeah, this thing is massive. I usually put final measurements and talk about final measurements for what I'm wearing, so that you can see, you know, and compare like what you like for like positive or negative ease, and kind of just like see what that looks like for a pattern. But for this one, I just like have no idea how to measure it because it is so big and I would not know where to measure. So apologies for that. If you do have like specific measurement questions, just let me know and I will try my best. But I guess I did make the smallest size for this, and it is large on me. But it's nice and cozy, and it is what I was going for and what I was hoping for. So I am very happy with how it came out, but it is large. I don't know, it is so big, I don't know if I would ever wear this out or like where I would wear it out to, but definitely wear it at home. I mean, I could wear it out, I just don't know where, but really, I just really like the Suri color. It was such a pain to knit, to be honest, but it's so fluffy, and it's almost like a scarf. So yeah, so that's my big cozy Cardi. It is finished. I'm just feeling very relieved that a huge, massive project is now off my needles, and I'm excited to cast on more things now. So maybe today will be a new cast on day because I just feel like I'm just needing a new cast on. Yeah, lots of things to pick from though. I don't know what to pick, but yes, Big Cozy Cardi is finally done. Yay. Okay, moving on to my works in progress. I made little progress on a lot of things this week, and part of that was because, one, I have a couple test knits, so I wanted to get some work in on, well, actually I did not touch one of my test knits, but you know, I wanted to make sure I at least doing something on at least one of my test knits, and then I picked up some things that I haven't touched in a while also, because I was like, I think I was feeling really good about finishing my Big Cozy Cardi, that I was like, I want to get more of my other things done too, like the things that I've cast on a while ago versus like my newer cast on. So I was able to pick up some stuff. I'm almost done with some of them, which is really, really awesome and feels super good. So yeah, I'm feeling really like I want to finish projects. So yeah, so that was kind of like this week in a nutshell. But okay, let's talk about this first thing since I was talking about test knits. So I have been making a little bit of progress on this one. This is my Ashling Sweater by Maddy, and I am really into the Suri right now. I just want to knit all the Suri sweaters. I want to wear all the Suri sweaters. It's like cold now here in Seattle, and I'm bringing out all the knits to wear, all the Suri sweaters. So this is progress. It probably doesn't look much different from the last time. As a reminder, again, this is a test knit for the Ashling Sweater. It is a Suri sweater. It is one strand by itself, and it is a bottom-up construction. And my absolute favorite part of this is this split hem. And I realize, I don't think I have talked about or just like mentioned this, but there is a difference you can tell from, this is the back hem and this is the front hem. So the back hem is longer than the front, and it also has this overlap section here, and all of that together, I just like love how that looks. I think it's so cute, and it's working up really well. Right now I'm just working on the body, so it's just stockinette in the round, and as you can see from my stitch marker here, this is how much I've worked from last week. So just slowly making some progress. It has been a nice relaxing knit for the most part. The only thing is like, yeah, working with one strand of Suri, just kind of like, I can't just like, I do have to watch my knitting more than if it was with a non like fluffy yarn, just because it sometimes I miss the stitch while I'm knitting. So I do have to kind of watch a little more, but it's still like stockinette for the most part, although there are like these on the sides, there is, you can't really see because it's so fluffy, but it is kind of like a ribbed section that carries up from that, sorry, do not know how to hold this right now, carries up from the overlap section here, which was a rib, and it kind of goes up both sides, which I think is also really cute. And yeah, just been a relaxing knit to work on. I'm gonna keep saying this every time I talk about it. I love how this yarn is looking knitted up. I think the color is so pretty, and I didn't even say what yarn I'm using. So this is Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Suri in the Hello Autumn colorway. I've used this colorway on a different base before, and I really liked it, and so I'm really happy to be using it again on a different base. And yeah, I mean, it's just Hello Autumn. Also, I think the first day of fall was like a couple days ago, and so it's pretty much like a perfect timing, perfect kind of sweater to be working on at the moment. So that is my quick progress update on that. Oh, I am knitting size 2, which is the final measurement bust circumference of 36 inches. So that should give me about 6 inches of positive ease, and so I'm really looking forward to just like a nicely, like, I wouldn't say oversized, but something that's not really tight, kind of Suri sweater. Really looking forward to it. I am using US 3 needles for like the main body, and then for the ribbing I use US 2.5. So yeah, so this is my Ashling sweater. And then next up, oh, this one is the one I have been working on quite a bit this week. It is my Tessellated Pullover, which is a Andrea Mowry pattern. I've been really into Andrea Mowry patterns this year. I went from like not knitting any of her patterns to just like knitting a whole bunch of her patterns. So yeah, the Tessellated Pullover, I believe I talked about it last week, and I was like, I haven't worked on it for so long, and then I was like, I really just want to get this finished because it's such a cute, I love the yarn combinations and would be so cute to wear. So, oh my gosh, I made so much progress. I finished the front, I finished the back, and I joined on the shoulders. So let me first show you my stitch markers. This is my stitch marker from last week. So I was working flat on the front from last week, and then I did both, like I did the neck shaping and both of the front shoulders, and then I also did the back flat, and then this morning I finished up the neck shaping on the back and the shoulders, and then it is a 3 needle bind off to join the front and back on both sides. Just looking great. And so now I have an actual like body of a sweater. It looks tiny and it looks really cropped. I am making the smallest size, which is size 1. I think gauge wise and measurements wise right now, like it's all still like matching out. I think I did read in the pattern that when you block it, that I think it does grow lengthwise a little bit. So we'll see how that kind of like, how much it grows. I'm hoping it will grow, I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, right now this is what I have. I just love the color combinations, and now that a lot of it is knit up, like you can kind of just see the whole thing. And then it is, I believe that this is called a modified drop shoulder. So, oh, and this is knit bottom up. And so once you reach the underarms, you split for front and back, and then you cast on, I believe for all sizes, you cast on more stitches. Actually, I do not know if this is for all sizes, but for my size, you cast on extra stitches so that it's a bit wider, if that makes sense, or if that looks, it is kind of curling in because that's just like how it is, how the stitches kind of work out. But as you can see, like under the arm, there were stitches that were cast on extra to work. And then I did this morning, before I did my grocery shopping, I did seam seam this underarm part on both sides. So I am now ready to cast on, or well, to pick up for the sleeves. So we're almost there. I think maybe before I do the sleeves, I want to do the neckline though, the neckband, because it just would make it look so much like cleaner. And so I think I'll probably do that. But I made so much progress on this. It actually has been not too bad to work on. I know I've mentioned that I didn't really like working on it too much, only because the yarn management is not really my favorite thing to deal with, because you are working with 3 different yarn at the same time. Well, not at the same time. You only work with 1 at a time, like per round or per row. But your project is still attached to 3 different yarn at a time. So you do have to kind of like just make sure you deal with that. And it's just like, I have to be, I feel like, in the right like mindset to be able to like, it's not really like focus, but it's just, you know, just to deal with it. Like I can't just throw my yarn on the ground and just like knit. I need to have them kind of like set up on the table in front of me and just make sure everything's kind of working out. So, but it's looking so great. I really like how it knitted up. Really like the colors. So here it is. I think it's really pretty. And after this project, or after I bought the yarn for this project, I was like, do I like dark green? I know I've said this before that I'm pretty sure I do like green, but I'm really, really into this dark green kind of color right now. So like any new yarn releases right now, if there's a dark green, I'm like, I kind of want it. I don't know what to do. So I cannot wait to have this as a finished object. But, well, we're almost there. I mean, I've made so much progress on this. I feel really good about it. So, yeah, just the neckband and the sleeves, and then it's done. So, I did not talk about the yarn yet for this. So, really quickly, the yarn I'm using, I've mentioned there's 3 different ones. So, the dark green main color on this, which you can see just by itself for the hem, is the Farmer Daughter Fibers Spinster's Daughter in the colorway York. And then for the Spincycle Dyed in the Wool, the color changing color, I'll just like hold this here while I talk about it so you can kind of look at it. It is Spincycle Dyed in the Wool in the colorway Every Rose. And then the Suri, which is this darker, maybe like terracotta rose kind of color. The fluff. Although I think on camera you might not be able to see the fluff, but it's like this column here. It is the Farmer Daughter Fibers Oh Dang in the colorway Clay. It just looks really good together. I love these colors together. I'm like, how did they figure out that this color combination would work out so well? So I just have to copy it pretty much. And yeah, so that is my tessellated pullover. And okay, so that is that. Next up is the Manhattan Hat Lite by Tori Yu. I have been wanting another Manhattan hat. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of them this year, I think, because I just love them. I love the beanies by Tori Yu. I actually wore my, what is the other one called? The brownstone beanie. I wore that one this morning. I love it so much. And so yeah, Manhattan Hat Lite. I've made the bulky and the original Manhattan Hat versions, and then this one is the first time I'm making the light version, which is basically, it's the same thing, except it's in sport weight yarn, I believe. Bulky's in bulky, and I think the original one was in worsted weight, maybe. So this one is sport weight, and I am using my own hand spun yarn to make this one, and it's just been really fun to work on this. It's very simple. 1x1 rib in the round, and so it's really cool to just see how my hand spun yarn is working up in this stitch pattern. As you can see from my stitch marker, I've worked maybe an inch, a little over an inch from last week, and I love the stripes that it's making with my hand spun yarn. The hand spun that I am using is, and don't worry, this is not my only ball of yarn to make the whole hat. I have 2 other ones because I did have to split up. When I spun this yarn, I split it up into like 3 different skeins of yarn. But so this is the first one. But the fiber I used for this, it is BFL from Art and Alchemy Fiber Arts, and the colorway I got was Whole Latte Love, and yeah, it's just been really fun to work with it, and I think it's looking really cute. I'm hoping that it turns out to be a hat that I can wear, even if it's not either like fit or like feel or like, I don't know. I still think it'd be really cute to just like look at and be like, oh, it's a hand spun yarn hat. So I'm just working on this and really enjoying it, just seeing how the yarn works up, because this is my first project where I am knitting with my hand spun, and so it's been going well so far. And I am making the size adult small, and I'm using US 2 needles for it. My gauge might be a little big, so that is why I feel like I might be in between adult small, adult medium as far as the size of my actual like head and the recommended negative ease for the hat. But I went down. I chose to go adult small because I think my gauge on this might be a little big. Also because there are some chunky spots in my hand spun, and so I know that would make any kind of gauge things a little weird. And so yeah, I think it's gonna work out okay though as far as sizing. So that's really exciting, and the yarn is really cute. Okay, I'm gonna go pick up, I did drop the ball of yarn, so I have to pick that up. Ugh, okay, so that is my Manhattan Hat Lite, and okay, I put this away. Next up for progress updates is this one. This is the ASU Sweater by Ozuko. Ozuko Knits on Instagram. This is her first pattern, and I think it's one of those weird, not weird, but like it's hard to see what it looks like as you're knitting it, or like what it's going to look like, just because it's, so if you haven't seen this sweater, it is worked flat and sideways. I've never knit a sideways sweater before, so I'm really excited about that. It's really interesting, and it is, of course, you can knit it with whatever yarn you want. You could make it solid colored or like one color, but since it's worked sideways, it's pretty easy to make it 2 different colors, and so that one half is one color and the other half is another color. And so that is what I am planning to do for this. And so the first color on the right side of the sweater I am using is Explorer Knits. I'm using the Denali sock base, so a fingering weight yarn, and I am using Bryce Canyon National Park colorway. I have been looking forward to knitting with this colorway, and so I'm really happy to finally be like knitting with it, and I think it's so pretty. And so far, so if I hold out just everything I have right now, it is started in the middle front and then worked to the armhole. You cast off stitches for the armhole, which is this opening right here. And now I am working the back part of the sweater towards the center. And so it's all kind of rolled up because it is stockinette, so it's a little hard to kind of like roll it all out, but that is where I am at right now. And so eventually the shoulder part will get sewn together at the top like this to create your armhole. Excuse me. And yeah, this one has just been a good like working flat stockinette. And I thought, I was not sure if I was going to get like, not bored, but just like purl, because you have to purl every other round because it's stockinette flat. Like I thought maybe I'd get annoyed by it, but oddly I am not. And it is a nice surprise. And so yeah, we've just been knitting through it. This is my stitch marker from last week, and so if we hold it this way, I've worked from, actually, does that make sense? I guess I could hold it this way. Actually, maybe this way would be better. So from the stitch marker up is how much I've worked from last week. I think that's pretty good progress. Look how pretty that yarn looks. The variegation on Explorer Knits yarn is just like my favorite. And yeah, so that is where we're at. I cannot wait to use my second color for this, which is going to be also Explorer Knits, and it'll be Chinley, which is, I think, one of my favorite colors ever. And I think they will pair so nicely together. And yeah, I think what's really fun about this sweater and what my hopes that it'll look good with is that one side can be a variegated yarn and the other side could be a solid color. I think that's a great way to pair the yarn. And if you've watched any of my previous episodes, my pairing of like variegated yarn plus a solid, I've been like wanting to make the half and half triangles wrap with, which I am. There are still plans for that. But now I'm like, I have like a sweater option to do this color pairing or yarn pairing with as well. And so I just love that so much. So that is how this is going so far. I know I've mentioned this in last week or the week before episode about this sweater, but definitely if you plan to make this, do a gauge swatch and check, because my row gauge does not match the pattern's row gauge. So, but I would recommend just try to get the stitch gauge correct, so that because it's worked sideways, stitch gauge would be the length of your sweater, and so you want to make sure the length is good. And so your row gauge, you can just knit two measurements versus like counting rows. If that makes sense. I'm hoping I'm making sense. I may have misspoke about row versus stitch last time, but I would say just check your gauge if you're planning on making this sweater. But so far it's looking like it's working out. So very, very excited about this one as well. So, and mostly actually it's because I'm just envisioning all of the yarn combinations for this sweater. So it's just like the anticipation of seeing this in two different colors. Yeah, and then, okay, so I am making size 1 for this, and I am using US 3 needles for this. I think like US 3 is like my favorite needle size because a lot of the patterns that I've been knitting lately has been using US 3 needles. Okay, also laundry is happening right now, or like as I'm filming, so I'm hoping that you can't hear the washing machine and dryer, but if you can, I hope it's not too loud. But just thought I'd say that just in case you can hear it and you're like, what is that sound? Okay, next up, my friendship pullover patterned by Aimee, and I'm doing a really casual knit along with my friend Megan, who is a_naughty_miss on Instagram and YouTube. So we've started this sweater together, and she has made good progress on hers. I love her color choice for it. It's so pretty. And then I made some progress on mine too. So this is what I have from the last time. So this is my stitch marker from the last time I've worked just a little bit more. I think I might have just finished one chart repeat, or not like just one chart. I need to repeat for the chart, I think. So yeah, it's looking really cute. I love how the cables look. I love this yarn. I think I've only ever used this yarn once before, and so I'm happy to be using it again. So let me give some details first. So Friendship Pullover by Aimee. Yarn I'm using is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the colorway Plum Clay, which is a really pretty purpley, gray-y kind of color. It, in certain lights, looks a lot more purple than in other lights, and I just kind of like that neutral but still has a color kind of look to it. And I am knitting size A, which I believe is the smallest size, and I'm using US 5 for the ribbing and US 7 for the main body, which I believe is the pattern recommended needle size. And yeah, it's just been fun to work on. It's fun when I work on it to be like, oh, me and Megan are knitting the same sweater using the same pattern, and then we're going to be matching. We're going to have matching sweaters at the end. So that has been really motivating. And since it is using a worsted weight yarn, it is knitting up pretty quickly, which is really nice after having, I think fingering weight is one of my favorite yarn weights to work with. But yeah, so whenever I do work with anything larger than fingering weight, it feels like it flies on the needles. So it's going to be really nice and feel really special. But yeah, so that is my quick progress update on this. I do have just a few more details about our knit along in the description down below if you'd like to see. Join us if you want to make the sweater as well. There is not really a deadline. Like, me and Megan have a deadline for us, but there's no, just if you want to make this pattern as well, feel free to just be knitting along with us at the same time. So yeah, I do have the dates in our Instagram hashtag down below if you are interested. Okay, so that is my Friendship Pullover. So let's put that back here. And then, oh, this one, I have so I did force myself to work on this during knit night because I was like, otherwise I don't know if I would pick this up out of all of my other projects to knit. I mean, I do want the finished object for this, but I don't know. It's not one that I feel motivated to work on at the moment. But I did bring it to knit night to get some knitting done, and I think it was good progress. So we're slowly making it through. So this is the Air Tee by Ozetta. I know, I haven't talked about this in a while. Or did I talk about it? I have been trying to pick it up, but I don't think it's been like every week lately. But I am working on the body right now, so this is where I am at. Excuse all of the barber cords here, but this is the front. Working on the body, so we're still going. This is the back, if you're curious on what the back looks like. So the Air Tee does have this really cool like back detail where the top of the back is actually worked sideways, and then you kind of pick up to do the front and then the rest of the back. And I can show you my stitch marker from last week. So I think I got in, like, this has to be at least 2 inches, right? Maybe, from my stitch marker here. That's pretty good. I feel good about that progress. So, and then where's the underarm? So, this is the armhole. This is how much I have under the arm. Still gotta keep going, but it's going. And yeah, the yarn I am using for this is Big Little Yarn Co. in the organic wool linen fingering base in the colorway Nudie Kabe, which is, it comes out very different on this wool linen base than, like, of course on like the superwash bases, but it is like a light blue and some light pinks. The pinks don't really, they come out more tan, I think, on this base, but still liking it. I do like the variegated colors from Big Little Yarn Co. and it is my first time working with a yarn base that has linen in it, and so it's been very interesting. I am just curious to see how the finished object feels like to wear. I feel like you never really can tell until you are actually wearing it, so it'll be really interesting. And I think that because it is a t-shirt, like it's short sleeves, that I'm not feeling the most motivated to work on it because I do just want all of the cozy sweaters right now, but I do just want to have this finished object. So hoping to get more done on it this year. I'd like to finish it this year. I mean, it's definitely possible, but yeah. I mean, again, we're making progress, and that's good and fine. So that is the air tee. What else? Oh, I am making size extra small for this and using US 3 needles, just like all my other projects, it feels like. So I'm like, I really don't need more needles, but also every time I'm like, I want to cast on this project, and I'm like, I need US 3 needles, and I have like 4 projects on US 3, and so all my needles are taken up. I've already a while ago, bought more US 3 needles because I just was like, I need to cast on more projects. Anyway, yeah, maybe that's motivation to finish this so that I can free up a US 3 needle to work on more projects. But anyway, okay, air tee. We're just still going. We're making some progress. Okay. So that is that one. And then I have 2 projects that I picked back up this week that I haven't talked about in a while. And we will start with this one. Okay. This is the gown cardigan by Sumin. And I am like, I'm so close. I do this thing where I just like work really hard on a project. Like when I cast on, I go really, really hard and I'm like work on it a lot. And then once it gets kind of close to finishing it, I'm like, let's cast on another project. And then it's just like, it's like I could finish it in like a week or 2, and then I just stop working on it. So this is a project, I'm gonna say it now, I want to try and finish this by next week. Definitely doable, but also if I cast on a new project this weekend, I don't know. But I think it's still doable. Okay, it's looking so good. I'm like, why did I stop making this? Because now I want to wear it, so I need to finish it ASAP so I can wear it. This is the gown cardigan. The yarn I am using is Explore Knits Denali Stock in the colorway Drift. And I am making size 1, and I am using US 4 needles for this. I think I do go down needle size for the ribbing, but I don't have what needle size. I believe I'm using the recommended needle sizes for this cardigan. So this is what I have so far. Last time I've talked about it, I believe I was where this stitch marker is on the left sleeve. So I finished one sleeve. I finished the left side of the sleeve, and I did it to the recommended. I just followed the instructions for how many rows and the decreasing amount to knit. And I like a tubular cast off. I like that. And I'm liking the fit so far. I did try this on after making the sleeve, and I do like it. So now, so you can see that. It's looking so nice and drapey. I really like how this looks, and it's going to be so comfortable. So now I am on the second sleeve. I feel like I might be about maybe a little under halfway done with this sleeve, but it's so doable. I literally just need to finish this sleeve and then block it, weave in the ends, and it's done. So I could have this finished by next weekend. So it's going to be so cozy. I think that this is a cardigan. Like, I really like cardigans, and I have just been, I like my knitted cardigans, but there are just like some that are like, sometimes I want one that will just work for everything, if you know what I mean. Some cardigans are good for like being extra cozy, but maybe not like wear outside, or like some are really nice, or like, I don't know, I want just like an overall like wonderful cardigan, and I think that this could be the one. So I will stand up so that I can actually like pull out this button band here, because you can't really see it if it's not like laying flat on something. So I just love how wide the button band is on this as well. I bought some cute buttons, like big buttons for this from Flock, and so I realized when I was doing my Flock haul I did not show the buttons, I think because they were hidden in some pocket, but I did buy buttons for this. I'm excited to see how it looks on this. I love the 3x1 rib on this. It looks just like classy, but also comfortable, and like you can wear it over anything and look put together but stay comfortable. So this is a contender to possibly like knit one again. Like, it really wasn't that bad to knit, like, or like, you know, it was fun. It was fine to knit. Didn't take too terribly long, and yeah, it was an enjoyable knit, and I might want to make another one in a different color. But yeah. Oh, I like the length on this too, and just look, it's gonna be so good. So I have lots of motivation to finish up the sleeve because I'm so close, so close. And then I'm also like, if I finish this one, then I can cast on another project as well. So yeah, so that is the gown cardigan. We are so close to finishing. And oh, I will say, part of the reason why I picked this back up, because I kind of did forget about it, like not really, but kind of. And the reason why I picked it back up this week was because I saw Hannah from Hannah G Knits. She has a YouTube podcast and of course an Instagram, and I love watching her videos. And I did see a post, she posted that she is working on a gown cardigan as well, and that she's made a lot of progress. She's also on the sleeves, and so I was like, oh, that reminds me, I am also making one, and hers is in a really pretty purple color. And so I feel like we both have like similar, like mine's I feel like it's more blue purple, hers is more of a purple, but like I just like, I think it's so fun that we're both kind of, it was not planned, but that we're both making a gown cardigan in like a purpley kind of color. And so she motivated me, unknowingly to her, she motivated me to pick up mines again to work on it. So yeah, so that's exciting for me. And yeah, so lots of good progress on this. And let's put this down here. Okay, the last project that I have been working on this week is my half and half triangles wrap, because after finishing my Big Cozy Cardi, I was like, what is the other big project that's on my needles? My half and half triangles wrap. And as I've mentioned before, I have other yarn combinations that I want to make the half and half triangles wrap for, and so I'm pretty close to finishing this one, and so I was like, just finish this one so that I can cast on my next one, because it's so close. And I just, there's something about working, like I love seeing the yarn worked up, like just because I look at the skeins and I'm like, oh, I want to see you all worked up and see it all put together in the project I have been envisioning for them from when I bought it. So I have made progress on this. I am covering my face, but we will deal with that. So here it is. We are close. Do you see this? Okay, so I am working with this brown yarn right now, the brown half. So half and half triangles wrap patterned by Pearl Soho. It is free on their website. The yarn I am using, both colors, coast to coast yarn in the signature sock base. The first color is in Yucca Blossom, which is the variegated color here. And then the second color, which is the brown, is Biscuits. It's a really pretty brown. So I finally worked on, okay, so this is my stitch marker right here. Actually, let me hold it this way then. So the rows are getting longer and longer, and you can see my stitch marker on this side here. So I think that that's pretty good progress, if I do say so myself. And we've just got, actually, okay, I attached my second. I had to use 2, or I really think it's maybe 1.5, or a little over 1.5 skeins for each color. But this is where I've attached my second ball of yarn for my second color. So I was very happy to have finished the first skein, because I was like, I know from knitting the first half, I need to bust into my second skein of yarn. So I was like, oh, I just want to finish. My goal for this week was to finish up the first skein of my brown yarn, and I did. So we're on the second skein, and I've got, you can see this is the remaining stitches left to make the rows for. So let me just hold it up again. Oops. So we still got some ways to go, but it's easy knitting, it's garter stitch, and so we're getting close. It's also been nice to work on this because now that it's so large, like it just sits on my lap and it's just basically like a blanket on my lap. So it's been really nice. Keeps me warm while I knit on it, and so that has been good. It's not like when it was hot here and working on this was like, it's too hot. My legs are getting sweaty by having the project sitting on my legs. So it's been enjoyable again to work on. So I don't think I will have this done by next week. I mean, maybe, but maybe not. But definitely soon. Maybe in the next few weeks. Maybe a couple months if we're going to be extra safe on the timelines here. So yeah, because I really want to cast on another one with another yarn combination that I really want to have the half and half triangles wrapped for. But yeah, so this has been a good comfort knit to work on. Just an easy knit, just lots of knitting for the rows. And that is the last of my works in progress for this week. So onto my spinning. I love getting to this section because I still have no idea what to talk about for the spinning besides like I am spinning and here's the yarn and fiber I'm using. So, but it's been so fun. I've still been really enjoying it, which makes me really, really happy. Okay, I do have a finished object for my spinning, although I did not wash it. I did not wet finish this skein, but I finished the spin of my hand-dyed fiber. And so, as a reminder, the fiber, I bought some fiber from Flock. That was a white colored fiber from Northwest Yarns. It was a Kent Romney wool. And then I got 2 ounces of it, and I wanted to use it as my first like dyeing fiber experiment. And I dyed the fiber and I spun it. And now here's the final results. Maybe if I hide my face behind it, that it will focus eventually. Maybe if I hold it like this so you can actually see it. I was pleasantly surprised by how it came out. I wasn't sure how it would look because the colors that I dyed it with, it was not that saturated. It was very like pastel unicorn rainbow type kind of colors, which I really like, but I was like, how is it going to look spun up and like, oh my gosh, I hope this camera focuses eventually. But I really like how it looks. It has more of like an overall, like you can't really tell all of the different colors in here. It kind of, I was worried that it was going to look just like brown, which maybe it does on camera, but I don't know. Overall, it has just a really like nice neutral, like it's nothing too bright. Not really bright, but you can still kind of see the individual colors. And yeah, so that's very interesting. I'm very encouraged by this experiment to dye even more fiber, but I have a lot of things going on for the rest of this year, and so I do not know when I will buy more fiber to experiment to dye with, but it will be happening at some point. It'll probably be very end of year or next year thing, but I definitely want to do more of it and to spin with it and to knit with it. I don't know what I am going to knit with this yet, but I think it's so cute, and I just love having it in this little skein form, and I think I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. It's really cute, so I do like how this came out, and I'm very happy about it. I just need to wash it and then take pictures of it and then share it on my Instagram too. There's still other of my spins that I haven't posted on my Instagram yet. I'm just like really slow with posting on my Instagram. I have finished object pictures I have not posted yet, but I will try. It'll eventually get on there. But yeah, so this is my finished object for my spinning. And then I, of course, can never have empty bobbins for too long, and so I did start another spin, and I have one of my bobbins here for it. So I started spinning with my Nest Fiber Club. It was one that I bought, like I joined the club so that I could get this color because I thought it was really cute, because I think this was from April this year, and there were some extras but only for club members, and so I had to get some. This is the Paper Kites colorway, and it is on the super fine merino base, and so this is my first spin using a merino, and oh, it's so soft. Like I was like, when I started like spinning with it and doing like the drafting, I was like, it's so soft. It's so soft. So hoping it's okay. I think I am, my consistency is something that I think I'm been relatively happy with so far. Like there are definitely some spots where I'm like, ooh, it got a little thick there, but I'm generally happy with how it's going so far. But yeah, so this is my 1/2 of my fiber. It was 4 ounces, and so I'm doing, so far right now, like I've just been spinning them the same way as all the other ones, so it's a fractal spin again, and I'm splitting it in the same way as before, so in half, and then this is the first half that I've spun from end to end, and then the other half I split into 4, and so I'm working on that half now. But yeah, so this is what I have so far. The colors came out a lot. Oh, and this is also the first time I am spinning with fiber from Nest Fiber, and I was so pumped for it. I was so ready. I was so excited. I am so excited. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this looks up once I apply it. And so, oh, also, yeah, everything I've spun so far has been a 2-ply. I eventually want to try a 3-ply, but not yet. I don't know when or where or how yet, but I'm just enjoying just trying to get better at the 2-ply and just making my singles. So overall, it's just been really enjoyable and super fun. Also really relaxing. So I love the colors on this. I love the colors. So, oh, I just keep looking at it. Also, just like, it's so soft. It's so soft. The merino is so fun to spin. So soft. Although this is super fine merino. I have, yeah, so I don't know how much softer. I bet it's pretty soft, but yeah, I don't know what maybe a non-super fine merino is to spin, but it is my first merino to spin. It's a super fine merino. I really like it. It's so soft. So excited to have the finished object for this. Just see how it feels compared to all the other ones that I've spun. So yeah, that has been my spinning update for this week, and feels like that's kind of been a lot. But okay, so now we are all done with my works in progress. I did want to talk about, since I talked about last time that I had, and the reason I'm filming on Sunday is because I had an ice skating competition last night, and I was thinking about filming in the morning yesterday, but I was just a little stressed. Didn't want to feel like I was being rushed to get ready and leave the house, and so I figured I would just wait to film for today. So the video will be going up a little later today. I hope that is all right. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone's kind messages on, good luck on my skating competition. I really, really, really appreciate it. You all are so sweet, and yeah, I think it went okay. I don't want to get too much into the details because that might be kind of boring, because it's definitely not knitting related at all. But there were 5 people in my group, and I ended up getting 3rd place, it is fine. I usually don't care too much about what place I get. Like, yes, it is really nice to get a medal and to place, and it always feels good, but it's weird. I think I started competing last year. I did 2 competitions last year, and then yesterday's competition was my 3rd competition this year, so 5th competition overall ever in my skating. And so last year I had a different program, and I was in a different skill level group, because they do split it out by skill level, which is just determined by, like, you can be in whatever skill level you want, but if you do take tests, that kind of just will be like, what is the lowest level that you can be in. So I've passed my first freestyle test. Okay, I don't want to get too much into details, but last year I was in a group called High Beginner, and so when I took my pre-bronze free skate test, it now means I cannot participate in the high beginner group. I have to be in pre-bronze or higher. Does that make sense? So this year I was in the adult pre-bronze group, so it is all adults, and there were 5 people in my group. I got 3rd place, and the interesting thing about yesterday's competition was that it was scored, which we call it IJS, which is, I think it's the International Judging System, I think is what it stands for. And because not all levels, especially for adults, like the lower levels, they don't give you scores. Like if you watch the Olympics for ice skating, they have like all the scores and the breakdowns. They don't do that for every level. For the lower levels, they just rank you at the end, and so you kind of get no feedback on like where you did well or where you didn't. But yesterday's one, that competition for the adult pre-bronze and higher levels, they had IJS scoring, which is really awesome. So yesterday was the 2nd ever time I had IJS scoring, and it's weird. I have mixed feelings about how I did, because my overall score was just slightly better than the last time I had IJS scoring this year. And so I feel happy about that I improved, but this score is also broken down into 2 different scores. One is your technical score, which is your jumps and spins, and the other half is like they call it your component score. It's like your skating skills and your presentation and stuff like that. So my overall score was better than last time. My component score was much better than last time, which is something that I have been working on from my last competition, which I'm trying to get more speed and more looking less robotic on the ice, and I've added more like arm movements and tried to get it to look more smooth and less just like, oh, I'm trying not to fall kind of thing. So I felt very encouraged by that. My technical score went down. Some of my jumps did not get counted, so I got 0 points for some of the jumps because they were under-rotated. If this all makes no sense, I do apologize. But yeah, so I know that, yeah, I just have mixed feelings. I feel happy about some things, sad about some things. But overall, I mean, I really just like felt good that I went out there and did my best. I feel like I was really nervous. I always get very nervous before going on the ice. And this time I actually felt a bit more grounded in certain sections of my program, which was really nice to feel versus just like legs being shaky all the time or the entire time, which I think is definitely like, it'll always happen. But there were some sections where I felt really grounded, and so I do feel encouraged by that I've maybe been able to have a strategy for like feeling grounded while skating or performing or competing. So it was all good. I am just so tired. It was kind of an all-day thing yesterday because I performed, so I had practice ice at 1 p.m., so I had to get there a little before that, and then had to figure out what to do all the way until pretty much 6 p.m. was when I competed. And then I stayed to watch my friends who were all in like the higher levels than me, so they went after me. And then we had to drive all the way back, and because the competition was in Tacoma, so it took maybe about an hour to drive there and also to drive back. And so I'm just so tired from yesterday and all the stress. So I'm looking forward to today to just relax and to knit, because I didn't really get to knit that much yesterday. So I just want to knit. I want to do some spinning today. I just want to chill for this weekend. So yeah, I just again want to thank you all for wishing me luck. It went well, and I'm really proud of myself just for going out there and doing the thing. And when I think about how much I've improved just from like last year, like whenever you look like short term for skating, it's really hard to see progress, I feel like. But when I'm like, wow, like I couldn't do that jump last year, couldn't do that spin last year, and now it's in my program, and maybe it's not the best, but I'm doing the thing and I'm trying it, and I feel really good about that for the progress. So yeah, so that's been my weekends, and I just want to get to the knitting now. So yeah, I am also just I am enjoying this Big Cozy Cardi. It's just so nice, so cozy, and it's really getting the vibe of me just wanting to chill for the rest of today. And so with that, I will end this video here. Thank you again for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you have been working on, if you have been working on something while watching or listening to this podcast, because I love listening, or I love reading what you all are working on for yarn ideas and project ideas. So let me know in the comments down below if you'd like. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, or follow me on my Instagram, which is arieknits, the same name as this podcast. And hope you all have a good weekend or day, whichever day you are watching this. And I will talk to you. Oh, I always do this thing where I'm ready to sign off, and then I remember way more things to talk about. Okay, so I may film next weekend, although Saturday is going to be a fun day because I signed up for the La Mercerie spinning class that is happening on Saturday. I believe it is this coming Saturday, so maybe I'll film after that. I don't know. There will be a video, because if not, maybe I'll do the same thing as today and film on a Sunday, but that is happening in the near future. Very excited for it. But yeah, there will be an episode next weekend, as long as everything goes well. But yeah, okay, so that is it. That is all that now I remember. But okay, I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!